I hope all of us are doing great. In this specific illustration, we're going to use a various number of displays, and these are going to assist us understand the concept of this part of the brain that we refer to as the meninges. Now, the meninges, as we said, from introductory to various functions and parts of the brain, we said that the meninges basically is going to consist of three layers or coverings that are going to, of course, surround the brain and the spine. And of course, these are going to help in protecting and nourishing the brain and the spinal cord around this specific region. So if you can be able to see from this top right part of my illustration, I've got different layers of the meninges, which consist of the dura mater, arachnoid, and then we have the pia mater given in that specific order. So we are also going to see that this can be given in terms of this specific illustration. Of course, this is not more elaborate, which is of course consisting of this just layers of the meninges with the blood vessels. Now, these blood vessels are going to be embedded in this subarachnoid space, and of course, they are going to provide that specific function that we said for nourishing, of course, the brain and the spinal cord. Now, in my subsequent illustration, I'm going to show how these specific functions are going to be coordinating, of course, in that specific sense. And as we can see from the lower part, this is just a cross-section of the, of course, arachnoid matter, the dura mater, and the pia mater of the meninges, which are being shown in a magnified way, and how they can be able to be seen in terms of those specific layers. Now, of course, this is going to be assisting us in trying to understand deeper the function of the meninges, and from its physical outlook, of course, I've just given this lower part in order to assist us understand the various aspects of these particular layers. And from this, of course, the dura mater, which is the top layer, which is adjacent to the skull, is the outermost layer. And it's going to be, of course, it's tough in its physical formation, and as compared to the two layers which we are going to see later, which is the arachnoid and the pia matter respectively. Now, this arachnoid layer that we're going to see in this specific part, which is arachnoid matter, is the middle layer, and it's going to be the layer between the dura mater, and it's going to consist of web-like attachments, which are the, of course, going to form this specific section that we're going to see. And of course, the next, which is the pia mater, is going to be a thin layer, and it's going to be transparent, and it's going to cover the brain. Now, of course, this is going to be, of course, going into every section that the brain is going to be elongated, or maybe it's going to spread into. And as we're going to see later, the division between this specific arachnoid matter and the pia mater is going to consist of a cerebrospinal fluid. And this is the fluid which is going to nourish and create a pava zone, or create a pava between the brain and the spinal cord. So in this particular case, it's going to be nourishing, as we have said. And of course, it's going to be one of the fluids that are going to be found along this region in between these two specific layers of the meninges. Now, in our next illustration, we're going to look at a cross-section of the meninges. Of course, we're just going to mention this specific section, as we have said from our previous statement. So in this case, we are going to have this top layer that is consisting of the scalp, and this is going to be the skin and some of the layers which are going to follow. As we said, these are going to be the uppermost part of the skin that is covering the skull, and then we're going to have this specific layer, which is of course having bubble-like structures, which of course are going to be consisting of the skull. Now, this particular section is tough in a sense that it's going to assist in protecting the interior parts of this specific section. And of course, as we said, from this particular section, then therefore we are going to have these meninges, which are the various layers, which are of course the pia mater, which is the innermost, and then we're going to have the arachnoid matter, and then the dura mater, arranged in that specific order. Now, we had mentioned and said that of course this particular layer, an extension of this particular layer, is going to follow the brain in every section that is going to go into, and of course that is going to consist of the arachnoid, tubercular, and other sections that we have seen. Now, the cerebral arteries, which are, and of course breaching veins, which are going to be found around this place, are going to play a complementary role in trying to nourish different regions of this specific part of the brain, as we have just mentioned. Now, this is in a summary form of this particular section of the brain and the protective tissues which are found around this place. And of course, we shall be mentioning their various functions as we come across them in our various videos and discussions. So check our comment section and the various videos that we have done. I'm going to provide a link in the video in the description box in terms of a playlist. Kindly open and check so that we can be able to be understanding these specific topics that we discuss, especially on the concept of the human brain and the nervous system. So that is it for now, guys. Bye. God bless you. Catch us in our next video.